What's up, guys and gals? Your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter review for Ayakashi Triangle, chapter number 53. Let's get right underway. This one, honestly, alright, now we're getting into the romance aspect again. We're getting into the shameless situations as Shirogane would so adamantly shake his fist about, and actually was probably the best part of this chapter. We, of course, begin off the chapter with the entire idea of telling what's her name all the secrets that happened. She can now see all the Ayakashi. She knows everything, and we think that they're going to be brutally honest with her because they're explaining a lot of stuff here. But the thing is that that's not exactly what's going on. Like they explain about Ayakashi medium, they explain about Ayakashi exorcist ninja, they explain all that stuff. They say not to tell Lou about it, even though she's very much into the occult and the science fiction and the space and aliens and that kind of stuff. She's just going to blow this off as fantasy like she did before. So though what she does ask is, are you guys hiding anything else, or is that everything? And they clearly haven't told them that Matsuri is actually a guy. Even the mother, Suzu's mother, believes that Matsuri used to be a boy and is now a guy. Like, didn't used to be, but I'm so sorry. I always thought you were a boy when you were growing up as kids. But you turned into such a beautiful woman and stuff. And it's like, oh man, like this is just going from bad to worse for poor Matsuri in that way. And we do get Shirogane once again. Like Shirogane, as I said, his best moment is in this chapter. And Shirogane, I really like Shirogane and his very shameless you are, Suzu, so shameless. That attitude is always definitely at least adds to a chapter with these sort of chapters, right? Where they're not fighting, they're not attacking, there's no plotting, there's just, well, there is plotting on Suzu's part because Matsuri starts talking about how Matsuri doesn't want things to change. Matsuri finally has a couple of friends here, with Suzu's friends. She's become a part of the group and stuff like that. And he even notices that, like, the family is treating them much more friendly, much more nice. Not that maybe they would mistreat him if he was a guy, but would they be this overly friendly and so nonchalant about Matsuri, staying for dinner, staying for a sleepover, etc., etc. Of course, if he was a guy, it might be different, right? So he's sort of feeling this way in this regard, and he even says, like, maybe I was always more suited to be a girl in the end. Maybe I should stay this way and stuff. And Suzu seems a little bit like, no, that I don't really, I'm not into that sort of idea, right? And of course the brother is misunderstanding the entire situation to a degree. So there's an entire thing where Suzu's just like, hey, Shirogane usually stays in my room. Can you keep him entertained for tonight? So Matsuri and I can, have our sleepover and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, Mom doesn't know about it, but I'm rooting for you, sis. Now thinking that his sister is a lesbian and stuff. So all the misunderstandings are actually, it's quite entertaining. It's a fluff chapter, but it's quite an entertaining, chapter with just some of that cloudy fluffiness. Though of course Suzu clearly has an alternative motive here because of course we get the bath scene, we get all those scenes. Now once again, Shirogane is my favorite part of this chapter. Shirogane is my favorite part because he's like, trying to lure me away with such a cheap toy. I know that Suzu is attempting something shameless in her bedroom, and I will stop it. And he said, alas, I can't resist. Curses, foiled again by a cheap toy. I might be the king of the Ayakashi, but I am a cat. And I cannot resist a cheap toy, to play with a cheap toy. So that's kind of funny and stuff. Of course, Shirogane always makes things hilarious. And then the end part of the chapter, Suzu being extremely bold. She's always been a little bold here and there, Ryo being more bold than Suzu. But now Suzu, hey, get on the bed. We don't need no guest futon. We don't need no sleeping bag. We don't need any of that. We're going to sleep together on the bed. Get on the bed. And it's just like, okay. Suzu knows what she's after. And it clearly doesn't begin with the letter D right now, considering. But, I guess this is what we're going for. Chapter 54 should be interesting. There's not really a whole lot much to say about this chapter. Absolutely not. I don't know where Suzu's new confidence and boldness is really coming from. She's done sort of similar things in the past, but this time she's is her whole thing, she's going to try to persuade him because she's worried that he's like, well, maybe I should give up. Maybe I was always supposed to be a girl. Maybe I should. And once again, this might be sending the wrong message for a lot of people in the LGBT or it might be sending the right message. I don't know. It depends on what they take away from it. I'm a straight guy, so I can't really speak to that, but it is sort of, it's sort of ironic because of the way, of course, these gender bender mangas have been around for a very long time, but there's, of course, new age stuff happening, and for this manga to come out now, it's gonna bleed into some of those issues, some of those identity issues and things like that. And in this case scenario, Suzu seems to want to remind Matsuri, though he is currently in a woman's body, and he's sort of like, well, maybe it's better like this. I'm happier, I have more friends and stuff like that, and you can understand that. Like, the better things, even though some bad things have happened, some great things. He's reconnected with Suzu. He's still increased. He can still be a ninja and stuff like that. He's trained properly. He's able to protect her. They've defeated multiple Ayakashi. He has a lot more friends now. Like, more positive things have happened ever since he became a girl, realistically. So, you know, it's not like out there for him to feel this way. But I think the fact of the matter is that, to get to my final point, is that Suzu is now going to basically remind him what being a guy is all about, or something like that. It seems to be that's the train of thought that Suzu's going off here with all this very bold moves she's making in this chapter. So have to wait and see if that is her intention. It's kind of hard to tell because, as I said, after she explained about this, like, Matsuri said, I like more Suzu to be a girl, blah, blah, blah. Suzu gets that, like you know, when she's getting a little hot and bothered, shall we say, she gets the swirls in her eyes, and we don't really know where her mindset's at. We don't get an inner monologue. We don't get her thoughts. She just starts, you know, saying, oh, well, we're both girls, so everything's fine. So maybe she's just going to keep, like, once again, basically telling Matsuri, hey, you might be happy, you might be having a good life right now and stuff, but you're still a guy at heart and stuff, and that's who you should be, or whatever. I don't know. It seems like I'm getting in some dangerous topic territories with this, when it's just a gender bender manga, people. But, yeah, so I don't really know what Suzu's real intentions are. That's my theory, at least right now. It sort of makes her, you know, I don't know, a little conniving, or you could argue it's a little cunning. But either way, chapter 54 looks to be a fluff chapter, but quite an interesting. Tensions are high in more ways than one sort of chapter for chapter 54. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens then. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Like, comment, and subscribe as always. And don't forget to drink responsibly as always, as I definitely am today, because I don't even have a beer in hand. So thanks guys so much for watching. Sorry this review was out a little later than intended, just the way the cookie crumbled, but I hope you guys will stay tuned for the next chapter review. Have a good day, everybody. Peace out.